Hello. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fine, next time. I know I'm coming on a little late tonight, but I'm so busy during the day. I want to come on earlier. Maybe I have a few times, and maybe I'll start back. I've been gone for quite a while. I had a little dental work done. My mouth was a bit sore. But look, um, my subject tonight is about rebuilding our local economy. You know, there's a lot going on around about this now, especially since, the immigrants are leaving. And now even in this area, since we have the local boycott about the man, a store called Six Stars where the man beat a woman who was actually in there clowning. Let's just be honest about it. But still, she was one of ours, so I can't throw her under the bus. I just throw her to the wolves because other people don't throw theirs to the wolves. I mentioned this in another recording. But my thing is about rebuilding our local economy. See, there's two economies. And see, I started this long before this thing happened over at Six Stars or whatever their name is. And these old bugs get to coming around when I turn these lights on. And, but see, what happens is, there's two economies. If you go about it on the national level or the city level. There's an economy where the city or the government collects money and redistributes it, for goods and services. And there's an economy where the residents where the money changes hands among them, and that creates local wealth, where the citizens don't have to rely on the city to give them everything. So your city can have plenty of money, but your people can be poor if they don't control their local economy, which most black communities don't. There's poor black communities, and there are more upper scale black communities do. And that's what people mostly look at among black people, the poor communities. But we want to try to uplift them some also. I know we're going to always have poor people, but we want to try to have as few as we can. They see just like what's going on with the government. Many of the people are suffering, but the millionaires and billionaires are making more money than they ever have. We're now getting people who going on to become now trillionaires. Elon Musk, he's became the world's first trillionaire, and I'm sure there's many to follow. And this economy is on steroids. It's the promise of AI centers that's keeping the stock markets up. But the stock markets don't gauge the wealth that the local people have, the citizens have. It gauges how much rich people are making, how much they're buying and selling. They can be filthy rich. While the people are suffering, that would happen during the Great Depression. The rich people were making money, but the working class was suffering. Middle class, even the upper middle class, was suffering. But the rich people thought it was okay because they were still making money. It only came a Great Depression when the stock market crashed and the rich people lost their money. That's the only time it was called the Great Depression. As long as the poor people wasn't getting anything, it wasn't called a Great Depression. And that's what's going on now. We have these rich people, they're making a lot of money. But to be honest with you, black people are not feeling it as hard. We're used to making do. That's the only thing I like about Trump becoming president. A lot of things changing that wouldn't have changed had Kamala Harris won. But we can foresee this, and there's no way I would have voted for Trump. And I wouldn't vote for him again. As if he could run. I'd vote for anything over him. But the only thing is, other people being shown how bad things can be. They're actually going through a lot of stuff we always went through. And when I showed my picture where it says the local economy, when it showed people street vendors, we may have to get back to that. We can't, you see, you can't get business loans. The city need to fix where these people can get licenses to do street vending. Fresh fruits, and like they do in third world nations, because you take a city like East St. Louis, we're just about a third world nation. And many black communities going to have to start operating like a third world nation and relaxing things and let these people find ways to make money. Let them sell, like the picture you see. Where's that picture at? See on that picture those street vendors? We may need to get back to that. We need to go scorched earth. We're not. So that's why I say what happened in Cahokia Heights. I've been on that for a long time, not just that. And you people that's out there with the protests, you're all on social media arguing and bickering with each other. See, we can never get around to the people who we need to get around to because we're always so busy fighting with each other. Calling each other all kind of names, talking about each other's past. We hate on each other more than we do the people we say we're protesting against. And it's always been that way. I mean, you are really getting nasty with it. And that's not going to help anything. Because, see, I'm not that woman that she did cause a problem. I'm not backing her. I'm backing black people because I've been on this for a long time. We need to get these immigrants out of our neighborhood and take back control of our local economy. Let me play this for you real quick. I played this before, but I want you to listen to this Asian woman. I'm dropping things. I want you to listen to this Asian woman and what she has to say. I got this spray in case these bugs start flying around these lights. I put rubbing alcohol in the spray bar. It kills them quicker than that bug spray. Plus, it's not toxic. Okay, listen to this. Where is she at?
Yes, this is really important. Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. And as I've said before, as a result of this, black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses. Once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community.
You know what? It's strange how they want to tell it now that they're having problems. They're being booted out and there's all type of trouble with them now. Now they want to tell it, but they were complicit. They were complicit with it. And most of these people who are now crying about Trump, oh, we shouldn't have voted for him, that's because he hurted you. He's hurting you now. You thought he was going to hurt others, especially black people, even many of the immigrants. I'm going to get back to my subject. Many of the immigrants. See, we thought that he was talking about deporting the black people. They actually thought we were going to be deported. And we're supposed to feel sorry for you? You wouldn't have for us. And see, we have to give, I'm going to pay I've got some black people who are doing some in the street. I'm going to show you a little history first. Let me show you this history of black people
They
vending.
fed cities and organized anyway. Imagine the busy streets of 1916 where black street vendors stood on every corner with baskets full of fresh fruits, vegetables, homemade treats, and warm smiles. These vendors were more than just sellers. They were vital lifelines for their communities, often the only source of fresh groceries in segregated neighborhoods. But city laws and police crackdowns threatened their ability to earn a living. Knowing they couldn't face these challenges alone, black vendors united and formed the first Black Street Vendors Union. Standing shoulder to shoulder, they demanded fair treatment, the right to work without harassment, and respect for their contributions. Their union meetings were filled with hope and determination. As women and men, many wearing aprons and work boots, shared stories, strategies, and strength. Through their collective action, they won the right to sell on their own terms, proving that every job, no matter how humble, carried dignity and power. The legacy of these vendors lives on today, reminding us that unity feeds more than just the body. Every job mattered. Follow.
We may need to get back to that. And see, the thing is, in these black cities, if we have to worry about police crackdown, then we need to vote these people out of office. Because they should be helping the city leaders. You take the city of East St. Louis, it's not broke, it has plenty of money. Its residents are just broke. That's why many times we respect the city to do all type of stuff for us that they don't do for people in other areas because we don't have the local economy where the residents can make their own money, so they think the city's supposed to do those things for them. Now, that's why many people expect the city to do certain things for the residents that in other communities they don't expect it. Because the residents are broke, but the city has plenty of money. Because the residents don't have control of the local economy. In East St. Louis, Illinois, about 10 years ago, they used to have a lot of clubs downtown, maybe a little more than 10 years ago. There was a lot of unaliving going on. It was mostly people coming over from St. Louis who like to come over to East St. Louis to party. And so Senator Dick Durbin went to a candidate that was running for mayor and said, and he was going to back her if she agreed to close the clubs down, which costed about, at that time, 400 jobs. East St. Louis would be coming on as a club town, which was good. But see, most of those unalivings weren't happening at the clubs. It was happening elsewhere. It was happening elsewhere, many times at the Arab service stations. But no one talked about closing them down. No, they didn't even close down while the investigation was going on. But the club had to close down, even though the crime did not happen at the club. So why would the club have to close down for investigation? So Senator Dick Durbin went and said, you have to close the clubs. He's not going to see any more money. He's going to hold up funds from coming to East St. Louis. And so this candidate won and went along with it and closed the clubs down. And that's why you see now downtown East St. Louis is just a ghost town. All beat up vacant buildings. Because those used to be clubs down there. Destroyed that local economy. Who knows how many will be down there now? If you notice in other places, when they have crime in their economic areas, they don't ruin their economy. They handle it in another way, but they're not going to close those businesses down. You see over in St. Louis, excuse me. St. Louis, Missouri on Washington Street. They have a bunch of clubs down there now because a lot of the office buildings are vacant. Those people are not renting space. The clubs are. They've had some trouble down there. But you know what? You don't see St. Louis talking about closing those clubs down, ruining their local economy. Because you know why? They're not going to ruin their local economy over a bunch of these hoodlums who's just going to do what they're going to do anyway. You think they stop unaliving each other just because the clubs closed down? There's some things that's just going to happen. It's not good, but it happens. And the people who are doing well cannot just stop everything for ourselves because some people want to cause trouble, some hoodlums, some people don't know how to act right. I'm not going to. You know, people say, well, they need to close this down because these fights go down. You got to find a way to fix that. But you don't close down the business. Other people don't. They can have all type of problems at a certain place, but they're not closing that place down. They're gonna try to find a way to deal with that problem and keep that money coming. But black folks, we're gonna close the business down. Many times around us, you get harmed for being good, for doing things the right way. I give an example of myself. Usually when I go to do things, I'm always on time. But most people are used to our folks not being on time. So a lot of times when they tell me about what time to come, they may tell me an hour early, knowing I'm always on time. Because if you tell me something start at 10 o'clock, I'm going to make sure I be there at least by 9 o'clock. But then it really don't start to 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Now I got to sit there and wait for everybody else to get there. Because now I'm 2 hours early. I get punished for doing things the right way. But the people who do it the wrong way, they don't get punished. And that happens a lot in our community. The good people gets punished. But the bad people just go about their lucky ways with no problems. And see, like with our local economy, I want to show you some of the people who started their own business. Black people got a lot of business. A lot of it is not even in our areas. Black people have business in white areas, in other areas. Did you know that? More than they do here. We're not in the retail business like these people are, selling stores and restaurants. We don't do that as much as we used to. But I want you to watch this real quick.
Yeah, got to hit that sauce on all of them. Know the vibe.
That's right.
That drizzle on there for you. You already know.
When you see a black-owned business like this in your neighborhood, somebody hustling from the sidewalk, from the driveway, or even from inside the house, support them.
Okay, now, one thing I disagree with what he said, that man's not hustling. He's doing business. See, why we got to use those kind of words with our people? Do you ever hear anybody say a white person is hustling? A Latino is hustling? He's not hustling. He's conducting business. Only thing about it, he needs to improve his language. Don't talk that hood guy language. We have to start talking more professional, and we're going to be about business. You already know. Come on now. Just talk normal English if you're going to be about business. You have to learn it. Because if you're going to broaden your business, you're going to have to deal with more than just... You don't want to just deal with black people if you can broaden it and attract other customers. They don't want to hear that hood language. Excuse me. Yeah, so we need to get back to that. Selling on the street until we can make enough money to build up. Like the guy G-Max here. I remember he got that nice big store over there. He used to sell out of a van in that same area. He bought the land where his store is at. I remember that. I used to come to town. I was living out of town then, but I remember he was selling clothes out of a van. Now he got a very nice store, doing very well. And see, that's how a lot of these people started. Remember Jewtown in Chicago? They're street vendors. And we need to see our city officials about them relaxing laws and let us start that back again. That way you don't need no bank loan. You can do that without a bank loan. And usually the products are much better. The fruits and vegetables are fresh. All this old biotech fruit they got out here selling you from biotech seeds, flies and the ants won't even mess with it. And watch those walnuts you get, because those kind in this bag already shelled. It's best to get the ones that's still in the shell, because I take some, I had so many of them, I took some out there to give to the squirrels. The squirrels wouldn't even eat it. Not those that's in the bag already shelled. They're dried out and processed. And most of these animals won't eat processed food unless they're starving. So if it's not good enough for them, why you want to eat it? I know we can't skip it all together, because there's so much out there, but try to eat as less as you can, because it's blowing these women up. In East St. Louis, it's almost hard to find a black woman that's not fat. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Not fat, but obese. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm trying to help somebody. You know I'm telling the truth. It's hard to find a woman around here that's not obese. From eating all that processed foods. And plenty of it. That stuff's not good for you. And other people come from other countries, they don't even want to eat the food here. Because they purposely making food to make you sick. Most of the doctors, when they tell you the truth, will tell you most of your illnesses is coming from the food that they sell here in this country. All this processed stuff. High cholesterol, high salt, high fat, making your blood pressure go up. But I showed that to show. You see how this brother fixing that? He fixing a nice plate up. And it don't look all greasy. Like that old Chinese rice you're eating. Some of you all won't let it go for nothing. It's supposed to be a boycott on it, but you wouldn't know it. See, one thing about the East St. Louis area, people don't really abide by boycotts. During the Civil Rights Movement, nothing happened in St. Louis and East St. Louis. The Civil Rights Movement bypassed this area. The only time this area really stood up was with Michael Brown. They stood up big. That's when black people stopped boycotting, stopped protesting, If you know, black people don't really protest anymore. They stopped after Michael Brown, after they did all that and saw it didn't do any good. But people haven't even noticed that Black Lives Matter, that wasn't black people. White people took it over. And there wasn't no Latinos, it was white people. We actually had more white allies helping us to fight against the system, the white supremacist system, than we do people of color. Most of our allies are whites. So don't think when I talk about white people, I'm talking about the ones I'm talking about. But I let people sort themselves out, because they don't sort us out. Because the people who know me, the white people who know me, if they think I'm talking about there's all white people, I ain't going to even go there, because you just sort yourself out. And don't nobody sort us out. But look, though, let me see, I'm trying to get this. But we may have to get back to this, some street vending. We're going to have to go almost back to third world strategies. I'm going to play another video for you.
This is Glizzy Street, a hot dog stand run by 15-year-old twin brothers Chaz and Chase. They said instead of staying home during the summer, they wanted to start a business to keep them busy. It's only been 2 weeks and it's blown up. We're talking viral on day one type of hustle. You see the line. This is their sister Blanche, one of 10 siblings.
There's one in there running the station, the other one's in the back. My dad was just here.
What is your affiliation with the gas station?
Oh, we own the gas station.
I know that's right, a family affair. Let's talk about these $5 hot dogs. They're massive. You can get grilled peppers, onions, and all the sauces for no extra charge.
Love the barbecue sauce on it.
Okay, okay.
Never had it on a hot dog before?
No, not barbecue sauce.
Something different.
Okay, okay.
We grabbed one with everything and one plain. Both were juicy and delicious. Think Costco dog meets LA street style dog, but better. And the prices go crazy.
That's a good spot. I like that. Wow.
Oh, that was so good. I'm happy.
Me too. They did their thing.
If you're in Long Beach, pull up, support these young entrepreneurs because these glizzies, yeah, they're that good.
This makes me happy.
Yeah, I think that's great. You know, I don't eat hot dogs because they're processed, but they don't have nothing to do with what other people want to eat. Because I can control what other people, and neither do I try. Because everyone has to, if your diet is something, you have to choose on your own. But that's not the subject. The subject is that these young guys out there are conducting business. And if you notice, they don't run it like no little hustle with all that old hood language. They're running their business proper, and it looked real good. And you see how nice they had it looking, even the first brother. You saw how nice he had that food looking. Not only he got even looking good, but you already have a bunch of box of greasy rice. Did you know that those people who sell rice in the black neighborhood, did you notice that people don't come down and eat that stuff? Because when you go up to white areas where they allow a Chinese restaurant or Asian restaurant, they're going to allow one. And they're not going to allow a whole lot. When you go up there and eat that stuff, it's not greasy. I know because I haven't eaten there in about 20 years. But I know when I have, then I don't know if it's been that long. But when I did, that stuff in the white areas wasn't greasy. But I wish I could get that fly. It wasn't greasy. I went with people up to Ginger's one day. This was about a couple years ago. Now, I don't eat that stuff, but not anymore. But I know it wasn't greasy. That's up in Fairview Heights. They say that greasy stuff to you. All that old fried up stuff. Because I remember when I did buy some years ago, I would get plain or steamed rice. Then when I get outside, I got to go back in. They done gave me fried rice. They're so used to everybody getting that fried rice. But that stuff, that old greasy stuff not good for you. Clogging up your arteries. Making you fat. Because if you notice, it's like with the Asian nail shops and they saying about black people boycotting the Asian business. Well, why come their people not come and support their business? Because they know the stuff they feed you, their people won't eat. Their people don't put all them nails all on their finger. Lashes all on them like that. Their people don't do that. That's why they can't get their people to come down and support them. Because they will not eat that mess you eat or put on that foolish looking stuff you put on. They know that's reserved for black people, not for their people. You see, but the reason I say that, we may need to get back to some street vending. I know black people got other businesses. I know many black people got business. They say black people don't have business. We do. We just don't have the type of retail businesses, which many of our people, many of our people who are living on the lower class, they need, even if you can't, help support somebody who can do this, even if you don't want to do it. Because we need to get back our local economy. And it's like that with black people all around the world in Africa. They control it politically, others control it economically. Getting off the subject a minute, I was looking at Morocco in the northern tip of Africa. What is Spain doing with a colony and territory in northern Africa? Run them folks up out of there. What business Spain got having territory up in northern Africa? See what I'm talking about? You think you don't see African nations having territory in Europe. This is the foolishness I'm talking about. We just take everything off other people, but not going to take nothing off each other. And like I said before, you people doing all that bickering about that boycott. Everything don't have to be perfect. But one thing I do say, they need to stop yelling across the street at the people who do go in the store. Your boycott is not going to be 100%. You think during the Montgomery bus boycott, going by history that I've seen, the facts from history, I doubt it. If probably some people rode the bus in Montgomery during the Montgomery bus boycott, but the thing is, not enough. You're not going to stop everybody. And no need of you berating the people who go in that store calling them names. Because that looks really ridiculous. You have to be more organized than that. Calling little children names. Calling their parents' name while the children is with them. That's a food desert. Some of those people don't have a choice. Are you going to take them to the store? Maybe the day they get ready to go buy groceries, they may get a ride. But see, but a lot of them want little knickknacks. There's other places up the street. Get them a ride up there. You can't just tell people don't buy certain things and you don't have an alternative for them. I backed the boycott, not because of that woman went up in there clowning with them, but I back it because she's black. And other people back their people because they're one of them. And it's bigger than just her and 6 stars with me. You know, I've been talking this a long time, but we need to get these immigrants up out of our neighborhoods. Start from scorched earth if we have to. And start some street vendings. And if the bank don't give you loans, y'all got money to buy all this weed and all this other stuff. Take some of that money and buy you some stuff. And get your tent out there. Start selling stuff. And the city, y'all need to relax this. We're in dire straits right now. Our people need money. And the city leaders out there, if you don't have to act mean towards your people if you agree with them or not. Because see, these Arabs, they're not going to elect you. They don't vote in your city. They may give you some money, but you selling your people out over some money. You are making enough money. Because see, those Arabs are not the ones who are going to vote you into office, in or out of office. They take the money and go home. And they're very arrogant with the people because they know the city leaders are backing them. Now, like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the protesters' tactics, but that don't mean the protest shouldn't happen. They have more competent leaders like Dr. Jerry Quarles. He's a very competent leader. So, you know, but I said to those other people, stop arguing with those people, yelling stuff all across the street. Let your signs do the talking. Because it's not for you to harass people. Because there's going to be some people who are going to cross the line. Just like if you ever picket line at a job, there are some people who cross the line. Feel like they have to get back to work. Nothing's going to be 100%. Nothing's going to be 100%. You got to, not berate our people because sometimes they go where they have to go. But see, one thing about it, many of you just think about the Arabs. I'm talking about all of them. Those Indians, the Arabs, the Asians, the Jamaicans. No, I don't care. Because they black. If they're not going to treat us right, now I tell you good place to go, that's in Somalian zone, and they're very good people. At 4601 State Street, in the old Super OG Rainbow, there's some good, respectful people up in there. But the problem is, you all want to go up there and disrespect them. Then you go up in there, you take them white Arabs will give you, and more. But then you go up in the Somalians' place who are nice towards you and want to disrespect them. So, and see the thing about it, I'm even many of the black immigrants, they need to go. But see, the Somalians, they have protective status because the United States destabilized their nation, bringing war there. Now want to put them out. They did the same in Cuba. But you notice it's mostly the white Cubans here. See, Cuba is mostly black. So is Brazil. Brazil is mostly a black nation. It has the largest amount of Africans outside of Africa. Because they had a very large slave trade. So did Iran. But where did all the blacks from Iran go? There's some that live in the southern region, and they're not treated very well. But see, everything that's happening to black people, it happened because, see, they brought the immigrants in. Remember the lady mentioned between 1968 and in the 70s and 80s? They brought them in. See, well, let me start first with Martin Luther King. See, with Martin Luther King, he wasn't fighting for integration. He was fighting for freedom. Black people were still under Jim Crow then, which is a semi-form of slavery. Had been under Jim Crow for 90 years, close to 100 years. Around 90-some years. What was people marching and trying to help us while we was under Jim Crow? They wasn't doing anything for us. Okay. So when Jim Crow was lifted, that lifted a lot of the economic hardships of black people. Black people could do many things that they couldn't do. Because like after the World War II, the white soldiers came home and they got GI loans to get houses. The black soldiers didn't. You create wealth usually by property. Most people, their biggest source of wealth is their home. They had their foot on our necks, but after Jim Crow was lifted, they figured black people would prosper. So what they did, they had all these immigrants to come in here to open up businesses, to keep the wealth out of our hands, to keep it from turning over in our communities. They, see, that way they don't have to do Black Wall Street roads will have mob action, burn you out and all of that. Because the money just never come to you. Go straight from your pockets into their hands and out of our community. So our community is building up other communities. Our household income will probably be one of the highest if our money actually turned over in our community. But it's not. And many of the black people own businesses, own it elsewhere, which is fine. But we need something here also. That's why I said we got to start street vending. We have to do something. We got to go scorched earth, third world nation. Because you know what happens when the United States takes its foot up off of people's necks? They had China under all kinds of sanctions and blockades. When that ended, I think it was in 72 when Nixon went to China. You see how China is about ready to overtake the United States now? If they haven't already. 50 years ago, China was a third world nation. Why? Because the United States was holding it back. Look at all the nations that's had sanctioned and blockades. It's all black and brown nations. See, nuclear weapons was meant for Caucasians. China and India had so many people, there was nothing they can do about it. But Poland just announced that they can really build up their own nuclear arsenal. Who's invading them? They're Caucasian. See, everything is meant to hinder everyone else's progress and build up the Caucasian progress. But here in America, it's a whole lot different. They just don't want to see black people progress. They're bringing even some black immigrants. Give them loans before we get them. I'm talking about foundational black Americans, the descendants of slaves. And it's always been their thing to try to hold us back. Even if they have to let some immigrants come in here and prosper. As long as we don't see the money. Many of the people were saying, you all going to be next. No, we always have been. You're the next. You had 1 year of it. We've had 400 years of it. And no one came to our rescue. And we're not coming to yours. That's all I can say is see you, because you said during the election, they said, we think they were going to send out the black people. And they're saying that you are next, like they're happy. Let them send them away. And we build up our own local economies back up. Because we cannot let these people keep coming in here, ruining, keeping wealth from coming in our hands. That's why I say 6 stars. I've been talking this long before them. If you look back here at a lot of my content, I've been talking this. I want to play this other video of these people. Is that the last one? Yeah, I think that is. But I want to show this again, this first one. This is a really good one. I want you to see this one again.
They fed cities and organized anyway. Imagine the busy streets of 1916 where black street vendors stood on every corner with baskets full of fresh fruits, vegetables, homemade treats, and warm smiles. These vendors were more than just sellers. They were vital lifelines for their communities, often the only source of fresh groceries in segregated neighborhoods. But city laws and police crackdowns threatened their ability to earn a living. Knowing they couldn't face these challenges alone, black vendors united and formed the first Black Street Vendors Union. Standing shoulder to shoulder, they demanded fair treatment, the right to work without harassment, and respect for their contributions. Their union meetings were filled with hope and determination. As women and men, many wearing aprons and work boots, shared stories, strategies, and strength. Through their collective action, they won the right to sell on their own terms, proving that every job, no matter how humble, carried dignity and power. The legacy of these vendors lives on today, reminding us that unity feeds more than just the body. Every job mattered. Follow.
But you know what? They've been allowed to do this in other communities even now. When I lived in Los Angeles, they had all type of street vendors in Chinatown, Little Seoul, and in the Jamaican areas, Latino areas. Those street vending was allowed there. The only time there's a problem is when it's in black areas. Now, if we come into these black towns, like where I live, I know this is seen all over. In the East St. Louis, Washington Park, Brooklyn, Venice, Cahokia Heights, any of these surrounding black towns, if these black local officials send the police, stop you, and won't give you a license, I'm not talking about charging no high price. If they do that, you need to vote them out. Because they should be backing you on this. I don't care how much money those Arabs give them. Yeah, Yeah, we need our people to become prosperous again. Yeah, we need our people to be prosperous because we're too far behind. We need our people. Oh, let me turn this down. To become prosperous again. Yeah, we're just too far behind. And if we have to go scorched earth, get back out in the streets, selling out there, let's do that. Because, I mean, we're in dire straits right now, and it's getting worse. And we need these immigrants up out of here. These Arabs. We know how to run service stations and all of that. I don't know how we're going to do it. Unless we just, I know many times, just, like I say, you just can't stop going everywhere. I noticed when they was boycotting Target. And they would say, well, what about Walmart? What about, we can't boycott every place. We got to go somewhere. And then, what about these? They doing this, they're doing, we can't boycott everybody. Look, if black people boycott everyone who don't treat us right, we'd be homeless, hungry, walking, and naked. Because come on, we're hated all over. We're hated all over, even by other black people who look like us. They come here, they hate us too. They told all type of stuff about us before they even leave their country, stuff that's not even true. Black people, see, when people hate you, they judge you by the worst of you. They talk about the black people. I was watching what these people talking about black men not working. Black men have always made jobs for themselves. Always have. I can't tell you the last time I went and worked for somebody else. It's been so long. Because the black men, we couldn't rely on the government like the women could. Now they can't anymore. Now many of them are making their own jobs, which is good. Because the government give it, the government take it away. And see, we have to, people have been preaching for years about becoming self-reliant. But you know what the problem was? Many people got into that Rainbow Coalition stuff about marginalized people. But them people wasn't thinking about us. I did a show and I showed you the Congressional Black Caucus mission statements and all the others. They got the Asian caucus. They have the Caribbean caucus, the African caucus, the Latino caucus. Everyone has a caucus. And their caucus only mention their people. But the black caucus say black and all marginalized people. Come on now. And Maxine Waters, she's even in the Asian and the Latino caucus. What's she doing over there? They're supposed to be helping us. They're helping them people. Their leaders said back during Jim Crow, we don't want any. I put that up for you one time. I don't have it over here to put up now. They were talking about how they don't want to have anything to do with black people or their causes. We know they're not treated fairly, but we don't want to be aligned with them. Well, we don't want to be aligned with you. Don't come crying to us now. And tell me this. Why come every time Trump and the white system does something to these Latinos, Asian, not any of these immigrants, they spend all their time tearing us down, talking about us, like we did it. You're scared to talk about them. That shows who you really hate. And us, we got to stop hating each other. Because we treat each other just like those other people do. We do. When we talk about ourselves, we look at the worst of us, just like they do. If you come on social media, you see a poster saying something positive about black people, here comes somebody talking, yeah, but what about? We're not talking about no what about. We're talking about the people who are doing well. Do you remember Kevin Samuels? I'm not trying to get off subject, but it has to do with this. Because we hate each other a lot, too, and won't back each other's business. You remember when he used to talk about men and the women would disagree with him? You know why they disagree with him the most? Kevin Samuels was talking about the upper level men. Because we used to hearing about the lower level men. He was talking about Paul, you was thinking Pookie. The women was thinking Pookie. He was talking about Raymond, the women thinking Ray Ray. You do that when you hate a people. Black women don't like us very much. You see, when you hate people, you look at the worst of them. And when something's good said about them, you just can't believe it. But back to my subject. And because I noticed, in 2024, a lot of those Latinos and all those different immigrant, African content creators and all, dragging black people. 2025, talking about I'm not black, the other black people from around the world saying I'm not black, I'm this, I'm that. See, they go by nationality and ethnicity. But after ICE got on that butt, they became black all of a sudden. Stay on over there in your lane. And you black people, you need to start concentrating on our own. In Chicago, remember when they invaded that house with those immigrants in it? That building, you know why they did that? They weren't going after the black people. What happened, they dropped all those Venezuelans out in the black community. And the black people let them come in the building, running electric cords all through it, giving them shoes and all that. Look, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Chicago. Send them over to their Latino cousins. Because you know what? Had they dropped some black immigrants out in the Puerto Rican neighborhoods, they'd have sent them over to the black community. We have to start concentrating on our own, go to our own people businesses. Say, oh, they need better customer service. They don't talk to you right. But they're not kicking your butt like these other people doing. Those people don't talk to you right. And you black men, when these black women go up in these Asian stores, you won't stand up with him. Oh, look out, but you like that, don't you? She fine, ain't you? You want to talk? He wouldn't. Look, he won't even let his woman come into place because he's scared she might get jungle fever. He make her stay home. I remember here recently, an Indian man unalived a black girl because his son wanted to marry her. I remember when in the Arab years ago, he unalived his daughter because she was dating a black man. But see, he was on the terrorist list and they had his house bugged and they knew what was going on in there and that's how he was caught. He didn't know his house was bugged. So those people hate us. One thing about white people, they're not unaliving their kids when they want to get with a black person. Say, well, why come you're not? What kind of white people when they unalive a black person? This has more to do than just that one situation. It just reached the boiling point. Them people at 6 stars, and most of these immigrants have been disrespecting black people for a long time. I told you about Chari out there. Why did black people let that place keep standing and him still breathing? After he shot at a black woman 6 times, got away with it. Talking about she was stealing. See, your lives don't mean no more than you than a bag of cookies or something. They won't unalive you over that stuff. He pew-pewed a black man 2 times. I better stop saying them words. I don't want to get sanctioned. Thought he was stealing, got away with it. And then he unalived this black boy. And you know what? The worst part, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. He should have been put out of business. Not through no boycotting and all that. I mean physically, put out of business when he shot up that black woman's car. That wasn't enough. He did shot a black man twice. That wasn't enough for you. And then you know there was a lot of disrespect came in between there. Those were just the extreme situations. Okay. After he unalived this young black boy, that was in 2023. The trial wasn't in until this year. His store was ransacked after the verdict. Why was he still in business? The Asian woman that unalived the 14-year-old girl in Los Angeles. She got probation. She thought she was stealing. Those black people's lives don't mean no more than some merchandise to them. She got probation. But see, there could have been some kin to me. They may have given her probation. But she would have got capital crime from me. She wouldn't be breathing. Unalive my 14-year-old? You gonna walk around here and stay in business? And you black people, that's kind of strange for LA though. I tell you why. They usually don't play that in LA. They get out there in a minute, but they let that go on. See, it's partly our fault we take the disrespect. Oh, we're going to black person business, they better not look at us cross-eyed. I'm not going in there no more. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to treat people. But these people can treat you any kind of way. And when you go out there and we start this street vending, and these black people start business like that young man, you know, when you go out there, when he tell you his price, quit trying to barter with him like he's a hustler. He's a businessman. Because these other people, you don't barter with them on their prices. They tell you how much it is, you pay them. But you don't see the black person as a businessman or businesswoman. You see them as a hustler. When I showed you the video, he said this little young brother hustling. He wasn't hustling. He was doing business. He wouldn't have used those words with any other people but a black person. Because we can't expect black people to have businesses and we're going to disrespect them and go to the other folks' business. You know that thing about the white man's ice is colder? Many black people would bypass a black person's business. When I was a little boy, right, it was right after the Civil Rights Movement back in the 70s. Black people started taking over a lot of these businesses that the white people used to own. And the Jews used to own. Well, they white. They were white too. All we know is white. We don't know about no Jew and what your religion and all that stuff, your nationality. All we know is white. That's what we see, a white person. But see, the thing is, when black people took over those businesses, do you know a lot of black people stopped going there and started going out? Since now you go and shop in the white areas, they went and started shopping in the white areas. The white man's ice is colder. That's where you see it. The white man's ice is colder. Their business is better. Their products is better. Well, in some cases it was. I'll tell you why. Out in those areas. See, they have an A market and a B market. The A market is where the fresh products come to, straight from the warehouse. The B market was most of the black area. When the product was ending its shelf life, they bring it to the black areas. That was the B market. Many black people got tired of that and started going out. Now they could go out to the white areas. They went out there and started shopping to get some fresh stuff. So in some cases I can blame them. But I'm talking about when it came to the more smaller convenience stores. You stopped going to them when they became black. I remember that black guy took over the cleaners. Many of the black people stopped going there. Started going all out to Collinsville and Belleville to the cleaners. And he did just as good of a job as they did. See, we can't say what black people should do, and then we're not going to back them and patronize their business. And go in there and treat them with respect also. Now, if they want to be disrespectful, we need to have a committee to go in there and talk to them people and say, look, we did all of this to get black people to have businesses. But you have to treat these people right. Especially you black women. You are notorious for being mean and nasty and giving bad service. Come on, you know I'm telling the truth. I remember when I used at the bank, people used to say, be in line. Oh, I hope I don't have to go to the black woman. She gonna talk to you so crazy you can't get your business taken care of. And it wasn't just the men saying it, it was black women saying it too. They were saying it also. So I don't think it was just men. So we gotta treat people right when they come into our businesses. I know them other people didn't always treat them right, but I'm talking about us now. And I couldn't, don't look so mean when you're waiting on them. Like, I know when I go up to stores, you go up to the white women and other women and smile, talk to. If you say something to them, they even engage in a little small conversation with you. The black woman, she's standing there. If you say something to her, stand there, don't say nothing. Most of the time, won't even say thank you. Mean look on her face. You gotta do better if you want people. You gonna run a business and treating she want to say as little as she can because she don't want to be bothered with you anyway, and it shows. Now, if a person next door gonna treat them right, I don't blame them for going there. And you're not going to. And see, one thing about it, I told you this before, but before I go, let me say this. I had a cousin who had a donut shop, a restaurant, Dunkin' Donuts, that was by the old Walgreens downtown on Missouri Avenue in East St. Louis, Missouri and Collinsville. But it had Ollie's on the sign where it was Dunkin' Donuts. Not the K-I-N, but the C-A-N in the Dunkin'. But there was this white Jewish guy. He was an optometrist next door to him. My cousin and his family went there, had glasses made. Had his family had more than once they had glasses made. He said the man would come over quite often, talk with him, almost every day. He said after a couple of years, he realized they've had glasses made from that man. He come over and talk to him, but that man never even bought a cup of coffee from him. Never spent a nickel with him. So he said he stopped spending with him. But he said it took him a while to realize it because, a lot of times, some things can slip by you. It can't. Some things slip by me sometimes. When I'm doing nice things with people, then I realize the only time they even call me is when they want something. And so I have to make adjustments, Sometimes you have to do that. But let's treat our people right. Our people are able to, make a bounce back with the economy. Let's treat our people right. And you keep coming to these people's stores and even after they beat your butt. But as soon as the black person says something you don't like, you're done with them. And you family people. These people jump on your people. What would you do to a black person if they did it? Do that to them. In a clandestine way. Wink, wink. And I'm going to tell you another thing. I'm going to get off the subject a little bit. I got to say this. You got all these black people down south have been unalive. Some found hanging. Body all beat up, organs missing. And they're claiming suicide. may get to the place where, y'all got ropes and they got nicks too. They move clandestine, you do that too. But you can't keep just taking stuff. If not, everything don't have to be a community effort. You got family, y'all family, take care of family business. But look, I might get in trouble for this though. But let me say this one thing last thing before I go about the boycott. Do you notice when white people boycott a business, they're not out there carrying signs and marching. You know what they do? They have a general consensus. They just don't go there. I told you this once before, but I'm going to tell you again before I go. Look, when 9/11 happened, that was this, going up towards Fairview Heights, that Circle K on the left, and that building on the right over there, you got the Circle K and that BP across the street. Then there's a building over to the right, directly across from the Circle K. That used to be a Hux service station. When 9/11 happened, on that day, they price gouged. They took their gas up to $20 a gallon. When that got out, there was a boycott of them. No one carried signs. Just let it be known to everyone. There was no signs and people out chanting and yelling at folks. They just didn't go there. And to this day, every business that opened in that building fails. There's a business there now. I don't know how long they're going to stay there, but everyone has failed. That's the way white folks boycott. They boycotting the whole building. But then again, they do have some alternatives. There's a Circle K across the street, BP, and other service stations up the road. We got to build some alternative for our people. They need a ride to the store. Man, maybe you give it to them. I wouldn't give them a ride to Six Stars. They can walk up there. I'm not going to give them no ride to break the boycott. Because I don't agree with some of the things that's going on. That don't mean there shouldn't be a boycott. We don't have to be in full agreement with each other to back each other. Because other folks aren't. Stop expecting our people to be 100% perfect. If we're not perfect, then you can't back us at all. No one has been perfect on this earth. I know a lot of people say, well, Jesus was the only person who was perfect. No, he wasn't. Oh, don't look at me like that. Oh, he's speaking blasphemy. It never says he was born perfect. See, if he was born perfect, he was the new Adam. Adam wasn't perfect. You know what they were? They were innocent. Because if Jesus was perfect, he was spiritually perfect. But if he was perfect, Satan could say, well, of course I couldn't tempt him. You sent a perfect person here. It's like the deck was stacked against him. Of course, so that proved nothing. Of course I couldn't tempt him if he was perfect. That's why the scriptures never said Jesus was perfect. It said he was innocent. That's why the grave had to give him up, because an innocent person was taken. An innocent person, I'm trying to find the right word to say so they won't sink him. An innocent person's life was taken. That's why they couldn't hold him. Not because he was perfect, but because he was innocent. They say he would be tempted, as all others have. How can you tempt a perfect person? You can't. Say, but he sinned not. So since he sinned not, he was innocent. That's why the grave couldn't hold him. The grave cannot hold an innocent person. That's why babies, they're saved because he said, blessed are the little babes. And when a baby died, baby passed away, blessed are the little babes, for they know not the sins of the world. But so let's get that straight. A lot of people say that to me. I hear people say all the time, there's only been one perfect person ever walked this earth, and that was Jesus Christ. No perfect person has ever walked this earth. But an innocent person have. Two were innocent at one time. First Adam, then he messed that up, listening to that nappy-head woman. Then Jesus. But Jesus sinned not. And that's how he became the Savior of the world. He was an innocent man. Was taken away. And that's what is supposed to happen. The devil would have known he couldn't tempt him if he was perfect. He wouldn't have wasted his time. I don't know about him, because like right now, he know he's already defeated, but he's still trying. I'm not trying to get off into a Bible lesson, but look, I just said that to say, let's do something. If we got get a meeting or something about trying to get our people, get your tents, set up your little business. And if the city wants you to buy a license, go ahead and buy it. Because these banks are not going to give you loans. So I want to start selling fruit. We in a lot of areas they got where people could come and sell fruit. Somebody with one of these large lots, let people start coming on there selling stuff on there. Some of these black folks, you say, oh, well, other people going to want to come. The hell with them. You don't see, you see black people selling in the Latino areas, in the Asians areas. You don't let them up in there, you're not coming up in ours. You got enough already. Oh, that's being racist. Well, you were too. Yeah, that's what you was doing. See, you know this one thing. It's all right to be racist to black people, but when we try to rectify it, then it's not all right. See, it's okay to have for white men to be for black people to be let go because of DEI, but it's not okay for them to be hired because of it. Which many want that anyway. We really want more for white women. And me more for white men. I told you about affirmative action. 17% set aside. White women and all minorities. Which left the white man with 83%. And then the white woman had the bulk of the 17%. So how are they discriminated against? You can terminate black people for racial reasons, but you can't hire them. So if we set up an area for our people, it's for our people. And we got to go to court, we go to court. Look, this is for black people because we're in dire straits right now. We need to get residents to come back in this area. They leave because they don't see any opportunities. And you can't blame them. But look, let's think about that. We need to start setting up these businesses that people want to see. I'm talking like you do when you have these little wood stocks and all that. We need to get a big lot like that to have our people come and sell. So they can improve their quality of life. Because we want all of our people to have at least the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this has been No More Water. Bye. Next time. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.